Hello there, and welcome to Sean Speak with Friends. Today, I'm honored to have Mia Renwall with me. Hi, Mia.
Hi.
First, in the beginning, I kind of try to sum up what it is you do, or like, I just wanted to say who you are, but who you are, like that cannot be summed up in 3 words, right? But for the sake of this video podcast thingy here, is it correct if I say you're a coach and trainer and vocal artist? Would that be?
Yes, that sounds good. I struggle to define myself in 3 words and it changes throughout the years, but that sounds what I do right now at least. Yeah.
So do you want to, like, okay, so coach trainer, that's a little bit like, what does it mean exactly? So do you want to tell us what it means in your case?
Yeah, so in my case, mainly right now, I coach people with everything that has to do with the human voice. So it can be emotional, it can be technical for actors, singers, singing lessons, vocal coaching for professional speakers, or it can be for someone who has like emotional blockages in their voice, like how to be more, have more self-confidence when you speak in front of an audience or in a Zoom call like this. So I help them find tones and more ease in their voice. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I host groups. I also have workshops. I'm also a tantra teacher, so I combine connection and sound into these workshops where we uh, study humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine we share similar interests.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
we're
imagine.
both aspiring radical honesty trainers, right?
Yes. So we're both in the Trainers Foundation
Hmm.
course. Yeah, that's where we met. Mm.
And you were saying you struggle to put what you do in 3 words, and right now it's that. And I imagine we once talked about like versatility or doing many things, and that
Mm-hmm.
you and I were both kind of like to do many things, and but there's like, I imagine, some stigma that you have to concentrate on one thing or something else. So how do you see that?
Yeah, I've always seen myself as a really creative person who loves versatility, who loves to change it up. I get bored if I do one thing, only one thing, for a longer time. So the only thing that stayed consistent in my life is my passion for the human voice. That has always been there. Then whatever I do with that has changed. So I've been a singer in an a cappella group. I've released own music. At some point it was singer, songwriter and voiceover artist. And now it's like voiceover artist or voice artist and vocal coach and trainer. And so it's all the time, living
Yeah.
with this, where does my creativity go? Where's the most of the pull, to release own music or be with people, coach people. So it's interesting. It goes in waves. I see it coming in waves, and now I have again this new inspiration also to sing more
Ah,
recently. So it's like it comes and goes. I don't know. I don't want to define myself too much. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, I imagine I see that with music in particular, that I cannot force whether it's here or not, right? Like I can have this dedication to it somehow. This I think Stephen Pressfield called it the pro attitude or something like. So I want to do it, like it's very, I decide it's important for me, so I'm sticking to it. Yes, I can do that, but I really cannot control how big the motivation is at any given time, and how much inspiration there is, and what, like how my life kind of flows. And for me, like as you said, like things have been coming and going, but the passion for the voice has been there. And for me, it's been the same with music basically. But I'm really like, oh, I'm just along for the ride, right? I'm like, uh, yeah, it's an illusion that I really have any control over it. I like to make it up and say like, oh yeah, now I got the pro attitude, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
I
did
hear
I
you.
come to have the pro attitude, you know, I might lose it at any given time. So
Mm-hmm. And sometimes actually the most curious thing is how to keep the beginner's mind.
mm,
So how to have a pro attitude to something, whatever it is, as a voiceover artist, as a vocal coach, as a singer, to be professional and not become, what's the word in English? Bored, a little bit bored on stage because you're so professional that you've lost the beginner's mind and this curiosity and this playfulness. So I imagine authenticity and honesty with yourself to do what inspires you in any given moment is more important than having some kind of, dedication is also important. uh you know and not having this forced should, that
yeah.
because I've released music before 10 years ago, I have to do it now a lot if my interests are somewhere else right now. Like for me, I got tired of doing a solo career where I was just by myself. I realized that I thrive when I'm in a bigger group, and
Mm,
I love leading groups. Like sitting in a circle with people on chairs or on cushions on the floor and just like holding space for people to explore
mm,
things and explore communication, explore your voice. That's what I burn for right now.
nice.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine like when you were saying um, to keep the beginner's mind, right? I
Mm.
imagine that it's can get especially difficult when once you start earning money with something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or once there a certain obligation comes in, right? Like you have to deliver again or something. So
Yeah.
it's easy to be the artist if you just do it for yourself. So uh, how what's your experience with that?
Yeah, I've definitely experienced pressure after releasing one EP, and then finding it difficult when the team changes. If there's even one person changing in your team, like the producer or a musician goes into another product, then this constant kind of feeling of renewing yourself and not being afraid of, and thinking about, will this sell? And I imagine that's the same with any kind of product, like if it's a massage service or a workshop that you're leading, or your song that you're releasing on Facebook or social media or any kind of platform. It's always this feeling like, this is my baby.
Yeah.
This is something I created, and these are my ideas, or these are my words that I want to sing and share from my heart. And how will this be received?
Hmm.
So if you start to think about it too much, think about the marketing strategies and think about, like, how should I adapt myself, my song or my workshop or my voice, so that I would be, booked more, then you're on a quite a slippery slope, because then you're not yourself anymore. So I judge the most important thing actually is just to be yourself. And then those who will come to you, to your workshops or to your gig, they will come to you because they like you, and they will come to you because they support you as a person, not because you're a certain type of image that you're trying, a brand that you're trying to sell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had this call with Christoph Fink, a radical honesty trainer in Germany, and I think he was saying something about when like he wanted to do a video for friends, like
Mm-hmm.
close, and then somewhere along the way something got switched and he started not envisioning himself doing something joyfully for friends, but instead he started envisioning how it would be received by other people, or you could call them the enemies, right? And today I was like reflecting on that a little bit, and I figured out what there's really a difference whether I try to do something for friends and I have this attitude of just bringing something that might make the day a little better for some people, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
whether I want think like, oh, the whole world has to receive this, right? And the whole world is full of these anonymous gray figures, like,
They are all looking at you now, Sean. How do you feel in your body when they are all looking at you,
look,
judging you?
it has to be perfect, like it has to be clean. I don't know, like, oh my God,
Yeah,
So
no. You can stop yourself so much with procrastinating about how is this going to be more perfect, like with a song or anything, or a workshop idea. And I lived a long time actually in Koh Phangan in Thailand, the whole lockdown of last year and the year before that as well in the winter. And what I noticed there is people are quite open to just try out things. Like it's a small community, a small tribe where everybody leads workshops to each other.
uh,
And suddenly, when I was in a different environment, I felt much more at ease
mm,
to just try anything. And I felt very brave. And then when I come back to Finland, I'm like, oh no, it has to be like very professional links to my web store. And in Europe, it's going to be like really. And then I start making all these excuses and all these, procrastinating on how to make it perfect instead of just doing
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
That,
So
I think that sucks. Like,
yeah, it
why
really
why
does.
do we do it?
Yeah.
Uh,
And now this time around when I came back, I actually managed somehow something had changed. I had been there so long that something had changed in my mind that I was able to keep this attitude of, hey, I'm just going to try this out.
yeah, nice one.
It doesn't have to be different here. As you said, I imagine it's a really good point, like from what point of view, like who are you making it for? And how are you judging yourself as you're making it?
Mm.
And are you shooting yourself to do it, or are you kind of just open to creatively try out things and doing what you really want to do? Yeah.
I wonder, you just said, are you shooting yourself into doing it? And I imagine shooting is like a verb that we use in radical honesty. I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know if that's actually in
It's
normal.
not a real world. It's not a real word in the normal world. It's but I've actually, typed it. I've looked it up and it's not a word in the dictionary. We
No.
just use it, you know.
So we say shooting if we say that we're kind of forcing ourselves, if we have an instance within ourselves that says you should, like I don't know, what is it, in German, it's the innere Richter, the judge, the
Yeah,
internal
the inner
judge
judge, yeah.
or persecutor, I don't know, or the
Yeah.
father or the mother or whatever. And this
Uh-huh.
voice says, you should. And then we say, are you shooting yourself?
Yes.
Hmm.
That's what I mean when I say that word. Thank you, Sean.
I don't know.
It's become a part of my vocabulary. I don't think about it
I
anymore.
like it, like, and I think I usually also I just say it, but right now I'm like, oh, this is like this is like actually something we could elaborate on, like why are we
Yes.
saying this? Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I've come to a place where I've learned like I imagine radical honesty is to a great part to be thanked for it. Also, of course, all the work I've done elsewhere in other workshops and healings and also therapy. But radical honesty has really given me a way to ask for what I want and speak clearly and have boundaries. And when I know what my boundaries are, then I like in anything, also in tantra, like tantric exercises, what if when you know when the what the playground is, if there's like a small little box we're playing at, we're making like sand cakes in a little, frame like this,
Yeah.
and we know where the boundaries are, then we can be free to be as creative as we want.
Hmm.
But if we're lost somewhere on a beach and there's no one there having any boundaries, like inner boundaries either, then it can be really scary. So so I imagine it's been really important for me in my whole life. I haven't even realized like how much it allows me also as a creator,
Hmm.
as a workshop creator and creative person to be free to play around when I know where my own boundaries are. Mm.
Yeah, I know that in particular when it comes to music, like because it's so obvious nowadays, you can do everything at home, right? Like you can have this whole with just a computer and a keyboard, like you can do all these things. And but it's so easy to then get lost, you know, and just to like, and I think actually then kind of stay on the surface, like do a little bit of that, a little bit of that, but not really dive in.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I put on some limits onto myself and say like, okay, it's only gonna be an acoustic guitar and a voice, yeah, and a song, right? But like just that, uh, then I need to really go into make the song good, you know, or and really cannot avoid really listening to my voice, you know, and see like, is that really, do I actually like instead of layering it with harmonies and strings and whatever, right? And
Yeah, yeah. The more simple it is, the more it's in focus, like what's happening. And
that's
and also
dangerous, huh?
also when you have creative restrictions like that, it becomes fun because then, you know, then you can be creative with that part, with that restriction. And also as a voiceover artist, when I record, you know, commercials or anything, when the director or the engineer says like, hey, okay, so we need this tone, so keep it in this tone, or do it all the time in this monotonous sound, the intercity train from here, you know, it's that's also a restriction. So it's kind of cool, like to find that frequency and then learn to keep it there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really it's interesting.
Hmm.
Mm.
I
I've
imagine.
known, yeah, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I've noticed the more I grow and the older I get, uh, I have this mentality that's simple, like less is more. You know, less produced, less. You know, I if someone ever looks at my music in Spotify, you can find it on my name. But like I as I told you when we started, you know, getting to know each other, I was like, I don't really resonate with that music style that I made. You know,
Hmm.
even like 10 years ago, it feels like, wow, okay, that's how I thought then. And still I wouldn't take it away from there. I wouldn't like change it because that's who I was then. And probably now I would do something way more acoustic,
Yeah.
something more, you know, whenever I get the inspiration to go into that creative hassle of creating an album again.
It's a hassle, right?
It's a hassle. There's so much more that goes down to creating an EP or even like or a 10 song album than just creating the songs and recording them.
Man,
There's like the artwork, there's like a whole team you need to build up around you. So,
yeah. Like you know, like I also did one album, and I'm like, I don't know, like I'll probably do another one sometime. But I'm like, oh, like, oh, I am already dreading. It's like so much work. I mean, it's fun too, but it's a lot of time that goes
it
into
is.
that. Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
But that comes for me, it comes back to what we started with like perfectionism, right? Like if you do it intimate and just, it's much more difficult to kind of gloss over stuff. So it is raw, it is more
Mm.
honest, and it's more dangerous. I judge it's more dangerous, right? So that's like, ooh, and
Yeah.
and so better just do it for friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it that we imagine that our friends are less judgmental? Or what is it? They might not be. They might be, but
I
they
think
might
we're
just
just
be
not.
withholding it.
Oh, you're quite right. I actually think like when I speak about friends in that way, I imagine it's not actually really our actual friends. I mean, this video I'm putting
Mm.
online for everybody, and I'm putting
Mhm.
it online on YouTube for everybody.
Mhm.
But I think there's something like we come from, you know, like this background of being in a tribe with 300 people or maximum, right? And that's what we've been doing millions of years, right? And I think that's kind of ingrained in us. So so that even if you do something that somebody else won't like, that doesn't mean that you get pushed out of the tribe. Like one person likes it, one person doesn't like it, but all in all, we're still in the same boat. So I think that it's more about that, of being in the same boat. And so when I say doing it for friends, I imagine it's like making the whole thing smaller, and imagining
Mm.
that these people you do it for doesn't have to be your closest buddy or your romantic partner, right? But are aim in like, let's say, primarily favorable, or I don't know, towards you, like.
Yeah, I imagine I get what you mean. And I imagine, is it that you're making it more intimate for yourself? So
Yeah,
you're
like
thinking,
I
you're
guess
kind of envisioning that it's for your close
yeah,
friends, your close community. Yeah.
I
And I
guess like
imagine it makes
pulling
it more easy.
pulling
Yeah, yeah.
closer, having less distance, not like, oh, I'm here and somewhere millions of miles away, right, there's somebody else, and
Mm-hmm.
hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I just started up a page called Healing Intimacy. And
Hmm.
there and I want to interview you also to
Let's
that
do
channel.
that.
Yeah, yeah, because intimacy is really what it is about. It's connection, right? So what you're doing for yourself, what you're creating for yourself is a sense of safety as you're imagining that it's an intimate moment where you're talking to friends.
Hmm.
Which is amazing. I imagine that helps me as well if I'm recording something, if I'm recording a voiceover, even if it's like a train announcement or a phone service thing, that I get the warmth in my voice, I get the smile and
Hmm.
the warmth and this like certain kind of tone when I think of love. I actually think of love and empathy and a close friend of mine.
Hmm.
So I do the exact same thing as a voiceover artist when I need to get more smile in my voice, right? Yeah, it's like this cuddly feeling right here in the chest. I feel it activate. It's like you would say I love you, but you say I want to sell you something, you know?
Oh, I don't know. Oh.
I know, it's creepy.
Creepy. Oh well, what to do? That's what I guess.
But that's how we do it. With we play with emotions, right?
Yeah.
And also in songs, you wouldn't sing like I love you so much. You wouldn't sing it without smiling and the warmth, you know.
But actually, like, interesting. Like when you just said that, I wonder how is it for you to give your voice to a product?
Mm.
Because I've been like, oh, I've been asked many times whether, like, not very often, very specifically, not like, here's a job, but like, oh, you should be a radio host, you should be a speaker, blah 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 blah. And I've
Mm.
always been like, nah, I don't know if I want to give my voice to just whatever, right?
Yeah.
The 8 o'clock news or whatever. I wonder how
Yeah.
is it for you?
Yeah, well, I definitely have some boundaries there as well. I won't do any type of product. So I've said no to a numerous amount of political parties. I don't do any kind of political videos. And I have certain things that I would not give my voice to. And I imagine whatever the product is and however commercial it is, I can choose to bring warmth even to that world. So my kind of ethics in this is that yes, I work for the, for commercials, it's capitalism, it's like people sell stuff. Yes, I work for that um industry, and at the same time it's a form of art.
Hmm.
So I can either just go into the studio and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna speak about this product and be like, don't care about it, I'm not gonna care about it. Or I can be like, I really care that you as a listener enjoys listening to me, even if this is commercial bullshit. you know, yeah. I mean, we all know it is. We all know what they're trying to do with the, social media videos and stuff like that. And still, you can do it warmly, and I can think about it when I'm recording voiceovers to a train station. For instance, I had all the time my nephew in my mind because when I did that train station that he usually gets off at when he goes to the summer cottage to be with his dad. So then when I said Kouvola, I was like, my
Ah,
nephew is gonna hear this one day, you know.
great. I like.
So so to have this feeling of being a human, to have this feeling of warmth,
Hmm.
I imagine that's really important in anything I do. And my songs are also quite hippity dippity, heal the world type of stuff.
Hippity.
Yeah. I would judge I'm kind of like a hipster hippie. I have a lot of those kind of qualities to me.
You're missing the beard to be a proper hipster.
Yeah. I would need to lend one, probably. Haven't got genes to make it naturally grow yet.
I'm not sure if I really want that. Staying hippity dippity self. I don't like.
Thank you. Hmm.
But what you were saying before, actually, I like it because I imagine it's unavoidable to a certain extent to partake in our everyday society kind of business world, right? Like it's quite. I imagine it's quite an illusion to think many of us can really get out and only do our thing, and be clean of that, and whatever your criteria are, what you think is right, what you think is wrong, and whatever. And some have the good luck or the perseverance or the aim and the kind of do something that is really according to their vision, but most of us will have to do some compromise, and I imagine even they will. Like I imagine
Mm.
everybody does compromises.
Yeah, I imagine even if you had would have the most holistic product, where whatever it is, a herb or a meditation, if you want people to come there nowadays, you have to use marketing in some way.
Use some NLP and
Or then you just send some, psychic vibes out to the world like, "Hey, I'm having a workshop on the February 22nd. Would you want to come?" It doesn't really work that way nowadays. Maybe for some people, like networking is still, of course, a really, really strong, like just talking to people. I imagine that was strong, very strong in Thailand.
but I'm not only talking about how do you market your thing, but in general, like it's unavoidable to be part of the destruction of the planet, for example,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like you can be all as good a schmuck as you want to be. Like we're a part of the problem, each and every
yeah,
one of us, whether you're
yeah,
vegan or not. Like you can be a
yeah.
bigger part of the problem or a small, like if you want to term it the problem. So like that's something that we have to come to terms with as humans, I imagine, that it's just not clean. There's and a guru, like, or whatever, nobody's perfect, like so we can just strive to be a little bit better maybe each day, or a little bit more loving, and as you said, like put a little love into the commercial or wherever
Yeah,
you're at,
yeah.
wherever you're at.
Or between your songs and your concert, or, you know, as an executive CEO for your company, like how can you talk to your people in the company with warmth and empathy and like humanity and connection, and also honesty, of course, if there's something you need to ask for that isn't working.
Hmm.
But I believe in this sense of, I still believe in humanity. I mean, it looks gruesome sometimes, but I want to believe. Otherwise, this would be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm. Yeah, I imagine we could go on and on talking. Actually, I love talking.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we have to do a number two, like
maybe
a
we just
interview
do
number two.
number two. Yeah. And I imagine we have to wrap it up slowly.
Yeah.
And because you're heading somewhere, you're on the train to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go vocal coach a person, find some more ease into how they speak.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So, Mia, where can we find some of your things? I don't know, your where's the healing intimacy, and where's
I have everything currently on Facebook, so different Facebook pages. There's uh, Mia Renwall, the voiceover artist. There's Healing Intimacy. There's Find Your Inner Voice. So for every project I have, and also of course for my music, Mia Renwall, the artist, there's a page. So if you just tap in Mia Renwall or Healing Intimacy or Find Your Inner Voice or Conscious Communication, you can find me. And there's also a website in the works, and it's still coming, but that will be miarenwell.com some sweet day. Yeah.
you got the calm domain. That's so
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
And,
Thank you so much. This was very lovely. I
yeah.
enjoyed talking to you.
Oh yeah, I like to. And thanks everybody for listening. That was Mia Renval, and I'm Sean, and this is Sean Speak with Friends. All right. Have a good time. Ciao, Mia.
Bye.